The Red Dead series is full of memorable characters, from the beloved Arthur Morgan to the villainous Dutch van der Linde, but it's the supporting characters that add another layer to the series. In this video, we'll look at 3 of the most interesting characters and explore how their stories intertwine with the main protagonists to create an unforgettable Red Dead experience. In 1899, Arthur Morgan confronts a client who owes him money.
What's not to understand?
He coughs on Arthur, which spirals into serious health issues. The client would eventually pass away, but what's interesting is that Arthur tells him,
Then sell your wife.
a statement that would become reality.
You want some company, mister?
No.
You sure?
To fully appreciate this story, we need to start from the beginning, when Arthur gets involved in a fight. Tension increases when a tough guy named Tommy appears.
Come here, you little greaser.
And this is where things start to get exciting. Tommy is known as the strongest person in town.
Tough guy. You want some too, huh?
They engage in a brutal fistfight, and despite the odds favoring Tommy, Arthur emerges victorious. But a stranger breaks up the fight.
Please, I beg you, stop. You won the fight already, surely that's enough.
His name is Thomas Downes. Mr. Downes is in deep financial trouble, having taken a loan from Mr. Strauss, one of the other members in the van der Linde gang.
Ah, how did you get on?
Not so good.
Unable to meet the repayment terms, Arthur Morgan is sent on a mission to track him down, ensuring the debt is settled one way or another.
Mr. Thomas Downes, you owe me money. We ain't a charity, Mr. Downes.
During the confrontation, Downes appears weak and frail compared to their first encounter.
We ain't your idea of charity. Is that clear?
In a disturbing twist, Thomas's cough sends blood flying, some even landing in Arthur's mouth. A moment that foreshadows the grim path ahead.
Not good news.
I guess that.
His wife, Edith Downes,
Thomas!
rushes in, breaking the tense scene. She shouts out that,
I said what you looking at, woman.
My husband isn't well.
but Arthur, unmoved, demands the money as he walks away.
Like I said, we ain't nobody's idea of charity. Get us the money.
This marks the final glimpse of Thomas in the game's narrative, carrying massive implications that will unfold in the story, and Arthur regretting his choice of actions for the remainder of his life.
Herr Strauss?
That man, the debtor, Thomas Downes, apparently he's dead.
Dead?
When informed about Thomas's demise, Arthur recalls
Huh. Well, he didn't seem very well.
he is instructed to
I believe he has a wife and child. She will assume the debt, of course.
Of course.
When you can, head up there and collect. We lent them a lot of money.
Okay.
teaming up with Bill and Lenny, they venture into Valentine with the aim of robbing the bank.
Let's go rob ourselves a bank.
The staff are caught off guard by Karen's distraction
You're the only one.
and are helpless as the gang storm in.
No word up! Nobody move! Don't make us hurt you!
The bank teller can't remember the passcode,
The manager does that.
God damn it! Now what?
so it's up to Arthur to crack the safe. It's a nail-biting moment as they retrieve the money and make an escape.
Everybody, stay calm.
And look, over there.
They eventually lose them. Thanks to a passing train. The team split in different directions, and Arthur heads straight to the Downes ranch.
Go on, get out of here. I have some other business to attend to.
And he finds Edith and her son Archie packing their belongings into a wagon.
Your husband knew the rules when he took that money. Now, I'm real sorry about the way things turned out.
Ready to leave their ranch behind and embark for a fresh start elsewhere.
Ah, Mrs. Downes, thank you for your punctuality. next to godliness, isn't it?
Mrs. Downes finds herself pushed to the brink and her world being turned upside down. When Arthur comes across Sister Calderon in Saint Denis, their meeting is interrupted as a child bandit steals this from her.
No offense.
None taken at all. Hey, stop!
These kids are the worst!
Don't hurt him, please!
Arthur gives chase and is determined to retrieve the stolen item. When he finally catches up to him, another man has caught him.
Hey, you! Why don't you leave the boy alone?
Arthur commands him to release the boy, which he complies with.
All right, forget it.
The boy thanks him and dashes off. This incident leads to a shocking revelation. Arthur spots a familiar face.
Hey, you want some company, mister?
No.
You sure?
Hey,
What?
I know you. This is Downes?
Not you. Get away.
Hi,
Now.
I mean, hey,
Help!
wh-
Help!
Hold on.
This man is bothering
Now-
me. Someone help me. Officer, help!
Edith Downes calls out to the police for assistance, resulting in a sudden and chaotic escape for Arthur. Despite this frenzy, he manages to return the stolen cross to Sister Calderon.
Sister, I got your cross.
You didn't.
She is overcome with joy and labels Arthur,
You are the most wonderful man.
a compliment that Arthur brushes off.
I'm happy to help a little.
As the chapters in Saint Denis and Guarma unfold, an alarming change in Arthur's physical condition becomes increasingly noticeable, and his bouts of coughing more frequent.
This is a tough time. And you ain't doing too well.
Signaling a decline in health. At the same time, Edith and her son Archie seize the opportunity to escape Saint Denis, relocating to the small mining town of Ansburg. We find this out when this happens.
Mrs. Downes?
Oh no. You leave me alone. You just leave me alone.
Arthur unexpectedly comes face to face with Edith once again, when she is accompanied by a client. The narrative quickly takes a dark turn, confirming something that spells doom. Arthur's persistent coughing intensifies, resulting in him passing out. When he is awakened by a stranger, he is rushed into the doctor's office.
Can I help you?
I need a doctor.
An examination is carried out and the bad news is delivered.
It's not good news.
I guess that.
You got tuberculosis. Really sorry for you, son. It's a hell of a thing.
The tough news forces Arthur to face a hard reality. He's slowly dying from tuberculosis and there is no cure available. The harsh truth makes him think deeply about his life and decides that it's time to make things right. He travels back to Annesburg and once again encounters Edith, who is trying to attract potential clients.
You want company, boys?
Understandably, Arthur apologizes for all the pain he has caused her.
Well,
Oh, you're sorry. Yeah, I heard you.
He asks about her son,
where's your son, Mrs. Downes?
Where you think?
and she informs him
Down the mine until he gets sick, which won't be long given how hard they work him.
he offers a solution, eager to help because of the harm he caused her family. But she doesn't want to listen to anything he has to say.
Maybe I could go with...
Well, maybe you could just leave us all alone.
He takes matters into his own hands and travels up to the mine entrance where he confronts the bullies.
Who's this, your daddy?
My daddy died. And this man, he killed him. What are you doing here?
Leave the boy alone.
Why'd you kill his daddy? You after his mama?
Leave the boy alone,
Or what?
or I'll kill you too.
He delivers a punch so forceful that it sends everyone scrambling.
Can't even fight your own battle!
Now who's next? Let the boy go. Let him go! Come with me. Shame on you. He's just a goddamn boy!
He gives money to Archie, advising him to go back to his mother and leave the area for good.
All of it. Try and talk to your mama and get out of here. Now run.
I'll try.
Good boy. I don't want to see you here again.
When we go back to their house later on,
You still here, kid?
Yes,
Archie reveals that his mother declined the money because it came from Arthur.
She said your money weren't moral. She said it'd be better to die than to take it.
Choosing to continue her work instead.
She's still heading out. Working, you know?
With remorse in his words, he apologizes for the difficult situation that he placed them in.
I'm sorry, son. Sorry about all of this.
She ain't been back for a few hours.
He sets off to track Edith, learning that she went towards Willard's Rest.
She left with some fella down the railway tracks. I did not like the look of him.
With a man who seemed very dangerous.
Around the woods towards Willard's Rest.
He rushes to the location and after searching, finally finds them.
It's nice out.
That's enough now, partner. You're starting to scare me, let alone the poor woman. Clear off. Who are you? Someone who don't want to hear no more of your nasty mouth.
It's clear she's visibly shaken and uncomfortable by his behavior. Arthur confronts the man and warns him to never bother her again.
Said clear off before I deal with you.
The potential client, recognizing the serious tone, reluctantly complies, but not without a final, unsettling gesture.
I'll see you again, dearie.
She immediately notices the signs of tuberculosis in Arthur.
Excuse me.
You sound like my husband.
He acknowledges the mistakes he made in the past and is suffering the consequences for them now.
I'm sorry for what happened, and I'm suffering for my foolishness.
She breaks down in tears, overwhelmed by her stark contrast between her past life and current reality.
Just so ashamed.
Returning to Archie, she rushes to embrace her son.
Mama!
In the midst of their reunion, they face the uncertainty of their future.
Go. Live someplace else. Start over.
It's during this moment that Arthur says with urgency,
I ain't looking for forgiveness. It ain't about that. But don't forgive me. Just take the money and get out of here. Please. I know I ruined your life. I suffer for it every day. But don't let yourself get killed for pride. I seen it kill too many folk.
He offers them money, and Edith, understanding the sincerity behind Arthur's gesture, reluctantly accepts.
That's all I gotta say.
Thank you, Mr. Morgan.
I said don't thank me.
As they head back into their accommodation, the door behind them closes, symbolizing their departure from the harsh chapter of their lives. But their story doesn't end here. We're left with a clue as to what exactly happens to them. A small newspaper article can be found with the headline reading, "A Gentleman's Sport," but a familiar name pops out. Edith has developed and opened several successful businesses with her son. Furthermore, we get a short glimpse of them during the credits, their fancy clothes implying that they are much wealthier than before. Edith lost her husband and was forced to make ends meet by any means necessary. She overcame all the odds and turned out to be the biggest success story in the game. In 1907, David Geddes gave John Marston furniture for his newly built home.
Ma found some old furniture in the attic.
As a token of gratitude for saving his ranch from a rival gang.
Get down from there!
But what if I told you that this is a small gift in comparison to what he really gave John?
Yes, of course, sure. It'd be my pleasure.
Mr. Geddes is without a doubt one of the most underappreciated characters in the entire game. During the epilogue, John finds himself at a crucial turning point. He's torn between his old life of crime and a new life he wants for his family.
I don't care what you used to do or what your name is. This is the land of second chances.
It's at this critical junction that he meets David Geddes, and this encounter would change the course of his life.
It wasn't me who went and shot him.
Seemed like he deserved shoot.
With the Marston family on the run from a shootout, they arrive in a small town called Strawberry,
What do you know about Strawberry?
where John and Abigail are on the hunt for jobs.
I saw the help wanted sign outside.
Sure, but you're a bit old to be stacking groceries and running errands, ain't you, son?
John, using the alias Jim Milton, gets hired at a general store and is sent to deliver supplies to Pronghorn Ranch.
Well, then maybe you could run some goods up to Pronghorn Ranch for me.
Upon arrival, John likes the scenic location
This is quite a place.
Yes, it's beautiful.
and even inquires about employment opportunities.
Your boss? He looking for hands?
Why? You looking for work?
But as we all know, trouble has a way of finding Marston.
Big man around, boy?
Get the hell out of here.
Tensions rise when the Laramie gang starts harassing Mr. Dickens.
Mind if I enjoy one of these apples?
Put that down.
The gang steal the wagon full of goods.
Come on. We know when we're not wanted. Get down from there.
And John chases them on horseback.
Hey! This is your last chance to come out of this breathing.
No! Whoa, whoa! You can't take a joke, mister?
Marston, after proving himself, is able to secure a job at Geddes' farm.
Please give us a chance. I can handle myself okay, you know that already.
We'll give you a chance. I'll let Mr. Geddes know when him and his wife return tomorrow.
Thank you, Mr. Dickens.
However, when Abigail is informed of the altercation, she expresses her concern.
Real wise, Jim.
What was I supposed to do? The place was getting robbed.
So you show everyone who's boss? Real fine.
I didn't have much of a choice.
When John takes up work at Pronghorn Ranch, it's a real eye-opener for him, as well as a humbling experience.
Hey, Milton. Can you give me a hand with this fence?
As a fella who was accustomed to the dangerous, action-packed side of life, he initially struggles with the mundane and labor-intensive work.
Can't build a fence, can't milk a cow, ain't used to shoveling shits, but took on a gang of robbers single-handed.
He does his best to adapt and fit into the farm and family.
How about you and the boy help me clean out the stables?
Even going out of his way to assist David Geddes' son, Duncan, learn how to handle and ride a horse.
Get on up there and go nice and slow. Keep your voice calm and your legs strong. Don't let old Jeremiah sense fear.
He also manages to calm down a wild bull that managed to escape and cause trouble.
Come on, move! Shit!
Now come on, you hunk of chuck.
During the chapter, we even see John take the time to bond with his son Jack.
Come on, boy. Let's go for a walk.
He teaches him how to ride a pony, and they even share a memorable race back to the ranch.
Hey, you keep practicing your riding.
But their journey to Strawberry leads to being a huge disaster. What was supposed to be a simple errand quickly goes south.
Hi, I'm here to...
Name?
Marston. John Marston. It's a long story.
Okay, John Marston.
John realizes they're being tailed by guys linked to an earlier shootout, and they mean harm.
What do you boys want with us?
Oh, we just want to have a friendly chat. Are you John Marston? You sure look like him.
John fights back, but this triggers his son's anxiety.
What? It's okay. It's okay.
He's emotionally overwhelmed and stressed from what he's witnessing, especially at such a young age. And by the time they get back to Pronghorn Ranch, Abigail can sense that something is off.
How is it? What happened?
We got shot at.
Shot at? What happened?
Her intuition proves to be correct as the Laramie gang attacks the ranch and steals cattle.
They've stolen my goddamn cattle!
Jeopardizing the Geddes' livelihood.
What are you doing in that thing?
Mr. Geddes been real good to us.
What are you doing?
My job, Abigail. My goddamn job.
Not one to back down, John gathers the other workers and they head to Hanging Dog Ranch.
Hey! You boys been coming up to Pronghorn. I thought I'd come down here. You're all so tough. Come have a word with me.
You here to cut a deal? You're too...
They fend off attackers.
You're gonna be sorry for what you done.
And John even takes down the gang leader.
Long as she bathes first in sheep dip, get the stink of you off of her. Farmhand!
Mr. Geddes is grateful.
You saved my life.
No need to say nothing, sir.
But this whole event pushes Abigail to a breaking point, and the unthinkable happens. She packs up,
Darling John,
and leaves with Jack. John continues to work at the ranch for the next several months and reflects on Abigail's dream of buying land in Beecher's Hope to start fresh. John didn't buy the idea at first, but after pondering on it, and to win Abigail back, he gears up to ask Mr. Geddes a life-changing question.
Hey, you think I could speak with Mr. Geddes? See if maybe he's open to offering me some guidance?
I'm sure he'd be happy to hear you speak at least.
Mr. Geddes is not just an employer. He plays a crucial role as a guiding figure in John's journey towards a better life.
Mr. Geddes, this is the new ranch hand I told you about.
Well, I heard you had some trouble with your welcome, but you kept your nerve and protected my property.
This is especially significant, considering many of John's previous relationships were rooted in criminal activities and manipulation.
What choice have we got?
The Pronghorn Ranch epilogue chapter is important for a couple reasons. It provides John a glimpse into a stable life that he's always wanted for himself and his family.
Well, you work hard, you be honest, you'll get your keep, I promise you that.
Boy has a family.
Oh, lucky man. Then you better work extra hard.
Mr. Geddes runs his home and land with the kind of stability and commitment that John realizes he wants for his own life. It's a massive wake-up call for Marston, making him see that being a good man is about hard work and family, not living a life of crime.
Get your horses ready! We have a train to rob!
In a lot of ways, he's the complete opposite of Dutch van der Linde.
Well, how good for him. Sounds like he has more than enough to share.
However, Mr. Geddes isn't a saint himself, because there's a reason he's often hanging around in Blackwater.
I've got a lot invested in this place, and not just the land, but my family. It's hard to explain.
There are small dialogue conversations around the ranch that give us clues if you listen closely. For instance,
Geddes spends on women, saves on hands.
Later on, Geddes says that he's heading off to town.
And no hands to help with any of it. I'm supposed to be heading into town. This place is chaos.
But Abe discloses something that strengthens our suspicions when he says,
"Is that what the boss is doing in town? Some business with them boys or something?"
Oh, when Mr. Geddes goes into town, well, it ain't exactly for, business.
Oh.
So it seems that Geddes might be up to some side activities when he is in Blackwater. But his wife is no angel either. All the hands on the farm are single, with no married hands allowed.
Long story.
Yeah, I don't know. Married hands. It's a lot of trouble.
I'm a good worker.
Our first meeting with Mrs. Geddes sets the stage. She says,
Duncan, what have I told you about distracting the hands?
I'm sorry, Ma.
Well, I hope you'll listen to me better than my husband.
Thank you, Mr. Milton.
hinting at marriage issues. But it doesn't stop there. She also gives us a clue about her husband's activity in town.
My God, where does my husband find men like you? Still, we all know where he goes in town, and it ain't hunting for hands.
But the real eye-opener happens right when John helps her with delivering a calf, and she invites him inside to celebrate.
We'll make a proper hand of you yet, Mr. Milton. Oh, and Mr. Milton, feel free to make a call at the house sometime. Perhaps even now. A drink to toast our new arrival.
And is shocked to learn that he is actually married.
My wife is expecting me back.
Oh, you're married? I didn't know we had any married hands.
Further, when John looks to Geddes for advice, Geddes jokingly says,
"Take my advice, Milton. Take your money and go buy passage on a boat. Go to Brazil and forget all about family." I'm just joking, son.
But there's a bit of truth hidden in that joke. To cap it off, Geddes says,
Yeah, I was young and dumb once, too. You'll get her back.
That makes it clear that he has messed up in the past, but his wife always took him back. Despite this, Geddes plays a role of a mentor when John really needs it. He even vouches for John so he can get a loan from the Blackwater Bank for the land in Beecher's Hope.
I want a loan, sir. An old ranch, Beecher's Hope.
John is able to secure it, but when he goes to visit the location, he is met with resistance.
Can I help you, friend?
I hope so. I'm buying this land. Afraid you guys are gonna have to go somewhere else.
Marston tells the squatters to go away and find somewhere new to live, which is met with a hostile reaction.
Get the hell out of here! This land belongs to me now!
Ain't nothing on this earth belongs to no one, partner.
Looks like you made your decision then, partner.
John takes control of the situation, signs the paperwork, and the land is his.
How'd you make out?
Well, let's just say there are no more squatters.
Okay.
Employment opportunities, land, and a fresh start is all thanks to Mr. Geddes. So when you think about the furniture that he gives to John, just know that it is a small gift in comparison to everything else he has given him. In 1899, Edgar Ross confronted Arthur Morgan with a proposition: hand over Dutch in return for his own freedom.
You're a wanted man, Mr. Morgan. $5,000 for your head alone.
Arthur declines the offer, but what's more interesting is that Ross told a young Jack Marston,
"Enjoy your fishing, kid, while you still can."
a statement that would later drip with irony. To understand the significance of this event, we need to go back to the birth of Edgar Ross.
Excuse me, you Edgar Ross?
Born in 1861, Ross's childhood was shaped by a society reeling from conflict. His formative years played a crucial role in defining his character. He didn't pick just any job. He joined the Pinkerton Detective Agency, and while working under the mentorship of Andrew Milton, he quickly ascended up the ranks. But his story isn't as straightforward as you think. During the Coulter chapter, Dutch and the gang target and rob a train, but not just any train. It belongs to businessman Leviticus Cornwall.
Look at this place. It's like a palace.
Well, now I've seen everything.
Cornwall catches wind of this and opens his deep pockets and begins to fund the Pinkertons with one mission, and that is to hunt down and dismantle the Vanderlyn gang. Ross and Milton later approached Dutch and his gang at their camp in Clemens Point.
Hey, Dutch, we got a problem.
Not a problem. Visitors. A solution.
With Milton convincing the gang to turn on Dutch in exchange for being allowed to flee for a short time.
You're making a big mistake. All of you.
The pair don't achieve the desired outcome, but instead of backing down, they decide to heat it up.
Come on.
Get your damn hands off of me, boy.
Later in the bustling streets of Saint Denis, during a bank heist, Ross is seen by Milton's side when he captures and executes Hosea Matthews.
No! Oh, God damn it!
Leading to a fatal shootout. But the tension doesn't end there. We later catch Ross and Milton leaving a meeting with Cornwall. The businessman is frustrated and berates the pair for their lack of progress.
Find me Dutch Vanderlyn! Bring him here! And leave the laws to them as need them! Good day, sir!
Come along, Mr. Ross, we have work to do.
Further in the story, while Dutch and his gang are robbing a train, Milton captures Abigail and holds her hostage.
They came and took Abigail.
Who did?
Agent Milton and his men took her to Van Horn to be put on a boat and tried for murder.
Arthur, being one to never back down, attempts to rescue her, and after a brawl unfolds, Abigail sets herself free and shoots Milton in the head, killing him instantly and saving Arthur's life in the process. But the drama doesn't die down with Milton. Ross, seizing the mantle, leads a formidable Pinkerton squad to Beaver Hollow, and while he might be out of sight, his presence is undeniable. His voice cuts through the tense air. At some point after 1899, Ross left the Pinkertons and joined the National Bureau of Criminal Identification. Ross continued to excel in his duty, attaining further praise and respect by his colleagues that by 1907, Ross was appointed as the Director of Investigation, and this was when things start to get serious. Ross and his new associate, Archer Fordham, make a chilling discovery in the hideout at Mount Hagen. They find a corpse, but not just any corpse. It's the lifeless body of government informant Micah Bell. This tragedy sends Ross and Fordham into a manhunt, seeking to find the person responsible. Town after town, after visiting every nook and cranny, the two agents are seen interviewing a number of people, and they manage to trace the culprit to a little peaceful ranch in Beecher's Hope, where they witness a man named John Marston teaching a young Jack how to groom a horse. In 1911, prior to the events of Red Dead Redemption, Ross takes John's family away from him in order to strong-arm him into hunting down some of his former comrades from Dutch's gang.
That's a nice way to greet somebody. Why don't I get a warm and tender embrace?
While Williamson and Escuela have been addressed, Ross demands more. He instructs John to help him locate Dutch.
Get in the damn automobile.
Can we assume one of my commitments is cleared?
Unfortunately, nothing is cleared, John, until your obligations are met. We need you to find Williamson, then head to Blackwater as quick as you can. We have reason to believe that Dutch Vanderland is in the area.
After saving one of their informants and putting a stop to Dutch's bank robbery attempt,
Oh, it's nice to see you, John.
Hello, Dutch.
Ross plans an attack on Dutch's base with the US Army.
After the debacle with the army and the bank, we have to put Mr. Vanderland to rest ourselves.
Their vehicle becomes unusable during the assault, forcing them to proceed on horseback with the US cavalry. They eventually reach the base and, with the soldiers' help, aid Marston in eliminating the gang members.
You tend to your wounded. I gotta face Dutch alone.
John finally confronts Dutch, who chooses death over capture by jumping off a cliff.
Our time has passed, John.
Arriving at Dutch's body, Ross criticizes Marston for not killing Dutch himself. He shoots Dutch's corpse with Marston's gun.
Oh, trust me, it looks better in the report that way.
Where's my family?
Your wife was killed in a prison riot last week. So, I'm only joking, dear boy. They were sent back to that Scrabble ranch of yours in Beecher's Hope. They're quite safe and sound.
He and Fordham release Abigail and Jack, directing Marston to his ranch, but it turns out to be short-lived. While John reconnects with his family, Ross breaks the agreement and leads a fierce attack on the ranch without warning.
We're leaving the farm. I'll watch from the silo. You two go to the barn, get the horses ready.
John!
I'll meet you there.
Amidst the chaos, John battles back, defending his family and home from relentless waves of attackers. They eventually retreat to the barn, and John sends Abigail and Jack away on horseback.
Now listen, Jack, Gnarly, get on this horse. Get out of here. Go find a place to hide.
You're coming with us, Paul.
I'll catch up. You keep riding and don't look back. And don't be worried about me, you hear? Now get going.
You stay out of trouble, John.
Ain't no trouble, Abigail. Ain't no trouble. I love you.
I love you.
Now go! Get!
The barn is surrounded by Ross and his men, and in the ultimate act of courage, opens the big heavy barn doors and steps out. John sacrifices himself for his family's safety. Ross watches his downfall, lighting a cigar in triumph, leaving John's body to be discovered by Jack and Abigail.
Did you hear that? Jack, we have to go back for Pa.
Let's go!
No.
In 1914, 19-year-old Jack Marston, seeking revenge for his father, locates Ross. After mourning his family, Jack encounters Agent Howard Sawicki in Blackwater.
Did you work with a man named Edgar Ross?
Who tells him about Ross's retirement to a cabin on Lake Don Julio.
I think he went and retired about a year ago. Last I heard, him and his wife moved out to a cabin on Lake Don Julio.
Jack travels there and meets Emily, who, believing Jack has a letter for Ross, directs him to Ross's hunting location in Mexico.
I was looking to deliver a letter to Edgar Ross.
That husband of mine,
Jack finds Ross's brother Philip hunting along the Rio del Toro, who reveals Ross is further downstream.
I've got a letter here for Edgar Ross. You know him? I heard he was down in these parts with his wife.
Yes, I know him. He's my brother.
Jack confronts Ross, who is unapologetic and justifies John's death, and warns that he'll do the same to Jack.
You sent him to do your dirty work. Then you shot him like a dog.
And I'll shoot you like one too, you little piece of trash.
However, Jack doesn't back down, resulting in a duel.
I ain't going nowhere, old man.
Enjoy your fishing, kid, while you still can.
Jack emerges victorious, avenging his father as Ross falls by the river.